Good morning, M4. In today's math, our lesson objective is subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. And the same like in addition or adding fraction, we're also going to talk about two methods to get the answers. All right, and it's the same. We are going to talk about the crisscross method and then the LCD method, or the least common denominator method. Okay, first we are going to talk about the crisscross method. Again, you can pause the video. Please take down notes. If you're copying, pause the video and write down on your note, and then when you're ready, you can continue with the video. Also, please make sure that you understand the explanation as well. Don't just copy on your note without understanding the lesson. So it is important that you listen properly when you do take down notes. Okay, so we start with crisscross method. The same like in our addition, we are going to do that with our subtraction. Okay, I'll give an example. We have, let's say, 1/3 minus 1/7. In this fraction, we have different denominators. We have 3 and 7. So for the crisscross method, what we first need to do is step 1. I'll just write step 1 here. You multiply the denominators. Multiply the denominators. So our denominators here are 3 and 7, so you multiply them. 3 times 7 is equals to 21. 3. Okay, so therefore our denominator will be 21. We will use 21. Now step 2. For step 2, we are going to do the crisscross multiplication, same like what we did for addition. We're just going to multiply 7 times 1 and 3 times 1. So 7 times 1 equals 7. 3 times 1 equals 3. Now we have 7 and 3. So for step 3, in order to get the numerator, because we already have our denominator is 21. So for us to get the denominator, we are just going to subtract or take away the answers here. So 7 take away 3 equals 4. Step 3. Subtract the answers. Okay, so you just subtract the answers here. So 7 take away 3 equals 4. So 4 is our numerator. Therefore, on this problem, 1/3 minus 1/7, the answer is, denominator is 21, numerator is 4. So this is our answer. That's the final answer, because we can no longer simplify it, because there's no number that can divide 4 and 21. Okay, so this is the crisscross method. Again, I'll give another example to be clear with this. You can pause at this video, you can take down notes. Please do take down notes. Okay, another example for our crisscross method, we have the fractions 4/3 minus or take away 1/5. So we're still using the crisscross method. Okay, so for the first step, I rub up the first step, you still have it, or you have it on your notes. The first step is to multiply our denominator. So 3 times 5 equals 15. And then crisscross method, you multiply 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is, you write 20 here. 3 times 1, we write 3 here. Now we are going to subtract or take away, okay? You check the sign. 2 we're going to take away. 20 take away 3 equals to 17. Okay, so this is our answer. Now think, is there any number that can divide 17 in 15? Is there any same number? No, there's no same number. Therefore, this is our answer. Okay, so some of you are asking previously, like, this is an improper fraction because our numerator is bigger than our denominator. Some of you are asking me, is it okay or is it acceptable to have an improper fraction for our answer? Yes, for the meantime, it is acceptable, but next lesson I am going to teach you what to do when you have an improper fraction answer. But for the meantime, this is acceptable. You just have to think if this is the simplified answer or not. Okay, but in this case, this is the simplified answer because there's no same number that can divide 17 and 15 together. Okay, another example I want to give you, it's the same like what we did with your addition. Example, we have the number 3/4 minus 2, 8. So we're still using crisscross method. You're going to multiply our denominators for step 1. 8 times 4 equals to 32. Crisscross multiplication. 8 times 3 equals to 24. 4 times 2 equals to 8. Now 24 take away 8. So what's the answer? The answer will be 16. Now look at this 16 over 32. Yes, this is our answer. But check, it can still be simplified. Now you have to think, what number can we use to divide 16 and 32? The answer for that is, yes, we can use 2, but we can also use bigger number than 2. We can also use 4. But you have to think, is there any other number bigger than 4 that we can use to multiply, or rather divide 16 and 32? Yes, there is. That number will be, we can divide both of them with 8. So 16 divided by 8, the answer is 2. 32 divided by 8, the answer is 16. Oh, sorry. Yeah, actually. 32 divided by 8, sorry, the answer is 4. Now you have this answer, 2 over 4. You might think, yeah, it's a small number now. It's not big like 16 over 32. But look at it, 2 over 4. We can still simplify this, even if it's a small fraction, 2/4. We can still simplify that. There's still one more number we can use to divide 4, and that is, of course, 2. 2 divided by 2. 1, 4 divided by 2, 1, or rather 2. So our final answer is 1/2. Because some of your work previously, some of you used a smaller number than it should be. That's why you may get a smaller fraction, but you have to look at it if you still need to simplify it. It may look small, but you have to look at your answer properly if it can be simplified. And for this example, yes, it can still be simplified to 1/2. But from here, if you use example 16 over 32, if you already used a bigger number, bigger than 8, example, you used a number 16. 16 and 32 can be divided with 16. So instead of 8, you already divided with 16. 16 divided by 16, 1. 32 divided by 16, 2. So this already is your final answer. You don't have to go through 2/4 and divide it with 2 and then you get 1/2. That is why it is important for you to know what is the proper number to divide your fraction in order to get the simplified form. Okay? Okay, last example for crisscross method. We have, let's say we have, again, let's use 3/4 minus 1/2. Now, for the first step of our crisscross method, we are going to multiply 4 times 2. So 4 times 2 equals 8, crisscross. 2 times 3, 6. You multiply them, okay? Some of you did not multiply it. I see some of the work after you multiply your denominators 4 times 2. You put 8, that's correct. But some I saw they directly subtract 3 minus 1 and then they wrote here 2, which is actually wrong. So don't do that. You have to crisscross multiply first before you subtract. So 2 times 3 equals 6. You write it here. 4 times 1 equals 4. You write on top. Now 3, or rather 6 minus 4. This is the time where you can take away or where you can subtract. 6 minus 4 equals 2. So this is your answer. Again, look at it. Yes, it's a small fraction, but it can still be divided or it can still be simplified. We can use the number 2 to divide both of it. So 2 divided by 2 equals 1. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So this is our final answer. Okay, so crisscross method, we have 3 steps as we previously discussed. You multiply your denominators first, then you do the crisscross, then that's the time you are going to do subtraction to get your numerator. And if the answer is a big fraction, think if you have to, think if you have to simplify it or not. Some of you are asking, but you did not simplify 17 and 15, Miss Maria. You did not divide it with any number. The reason why I did not divide it with any number or I did not simplify it, because there's no the same or similar number that can be divided, that can divide 17 and 15. Okay, so that's why we didn't simplify it. So that's for crisscross method. Next, we are going to discuss about how to get the least common denominator. So the second method we're going to talk about is subtracting fraction with unlike denominators by finding the least common denominator, or acronym LCD, least common denominator. Again, please do listen properly, and then later on you can pause the video so that you can take down notes. Okay, so for our least common denominator, we are going to use our times table. This is where it gets really handy or helpful. Okay, example, we have a fraction of 7/10 minus 5/8. Now, for our denominator here, or denominators here, we have 10 and 8. They are not the same, so they are unlike denominators. Now, we are going to look for the least common denominator. So for that, we are going to check their common multiple. Okay, so we are going to use your times table. You can use a scratch paper or an extra paper for you to do this, or if you are good with your times table, then you can just do it mentally. But here I am going to show you how to do it. Like for 10 now, we have 10. We'll do the 10 denominator first. So 10, what are the multiples of 10? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, so on. Now we'll use 8. What are the multiples of 8? So use your times table again. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. And then you have to stop. You can check, and so on, of course. You can check what's the common number does 10 have with 8. So you can check. We have the common number 40 here. So they have the common 40. So that's what we call least common denominator. So that's the least number that they have in common. Therefore, we are going to use 40 for our denominator. Okay? So this is step 1, looking for the, here, step 1, looking for the least common denominator. So this is 40 now. We got 40 as for our denominator. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. So next, what do we do next now that we have 40? So let me just write down here. 40. Here, we use it for our denominator. We have two fractions here, so we write 2. Now to get our numerators, we have to think for 10. What did we multiply 10 with 10 to get the answer 40? Of course, we multiplied it with 4. Oh, I'm sorry. We multiplied it with 4. Or you can use the paper, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We multiplied it with 4. So 10 times 4 equals 40. So since we multiplied our denominator with 4, we also have to multiply our numerator with 4. Only this fraction, okay? Only the first fraction. Let's focus on the first fraction first. So we are also going to multiply our numerator with 4. 7 times 4. Use your times table. 7 times 4 equals 20, oh, I'm sorry, equals 28. So you write it here. Now on this fraction, 5, 8. 8, we already used 40. What did we multiply to 8 to get 40? You can use this to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So of course, times 5. We used 5 to multiply to 8 to get 40. So since we multiply our denominator with 5, we also have to multiply our numerator with 5. So 5 times 5 equals 25. So this is what we have now. 28 over 40, 25 over 40. This is the same. This is equivalent. Now we are going to subtract them. Since we have the same denominators this time, you don't have to subtract it. The denominators, you just copy it. Same 40. Now you only have to subtract or take away the numerators, the numbers on top. 28 take away 25, the answer is 3. Yes, the answer is 3. Now you have to think we have 340 here, or 3 over 40. Is this the simplest form or simplified form? Well, you have to think, can we divide, is there a number that we can use to divide 3 and 40? No, there's none. Therefore, this is our final answer. That's just it. Okay, again, step 1 for our LCD, find the least common denominator to get the, of course, to get the denominator. And for step 2, you just multiply the, you just find what number to multiply to your numerator, and then you just take away. Okay, again, another example for our LCD. Let's say we have a fraction of 4 thirds minus 1/5. So 4 thirds minus 1/5. So we have to think what are, step 1, what's the least common denominator we have. So we use 3 first for 3. Use your times table. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. We stop there. Now we use 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. You can stop there too. Now think what's the common number do they have? They have the common 15. Again, if you know your times table, you can do this mentally. But if you're not sure, of course, you can use an extra paper to do this. Okay, now so the least common denominator they have is 15. So let's go to step 2. Step 2, 15. 15 here. Now what did we use to multiply to 3 to get 15? We used 5. So since we multiplied 3 with 5, we also are going to multiply 4 with 5. 4 times 5 is 20. So therefore you have 20 over 15. Now on this side, what did we multiply to 5 to get to 15? Of course, 3. So we also have to multiply our numerator. 1 times 3 is 3. Now we have this fraction, 20, 15 minus 3, 15. Since it is the same, we have the same denominator, you just copy the denominator, 15. Now 20 minus 17, 20 minus 3 equals 17. Now think, is this a simplified form? Is there a number that we can divide with this fraction? No, there's none. Therefore, this is our final answer. Okay? It's the same like what we did with your addition, but this time we just have to subtract. Okay, last I will give you an example where you have to simplify using the LCD, or the least common denominator. I'll just write this off. Example, we have the fraction 7/12. Take away 1/4. Again, find the least common denominator. We use 12, 12, 24, 36, so on. You don't have to go too far because it's already big. Now we use 4, 4, 8, 12. You have to stop. Now you know that their common number is 12. Their common number is 12. Now for this example, since 7/12, the denominator is already 12, and we are going to use 12 because that is their common denominator. You just copy the entire fraction. So you write 7/12 here. Now for this, since we still have to convert it to 12, you have to think, what number do we need to multiply 4 to get to 12? Okay, we have to multiply it with 3. 4 times 3 equals 12. 1 times 3 equals 3. Now you can take away. Now 12 minus, oh no, you just copy the denominator 12 because they're the same. You now subtract or take away the numerator. 7 minus 3 equals 4. Now you have this answer. Now think, do we have to simplify this or not? Is there a number that we can divide both 4 and 12 together? Yes, there is. You can divide it with the number 4. So 4 divided by 12 equals 1. I'm sorry, 4 divided by 4 equals 1. Okay? 12 divided by 4 equals 3. Therefore, our final answer is 1/3. This is the simplified answer. Okay, so that's just it. So for your activity, you just have to choose which way you're comfortable to get the answer. You can use the step 1, the crisscross method. Make sure to check if you need to simplify the answer or not. Or you can also use the LCD method. Make sure also to check if you have to simplify the answer or not. You only have to choose which method you are comfortable to get the answers.